The red planet was quiet. Too quiet. Captain Arik stepped down from his small ship, his boots sinking into the soft dust. The sky above him glowed like burning fire, filled with heavy smoke and long clouds that never moved. It looked like a world at the end of its life. He had come only for supplies. His fuel was running low, his water tank nearly empty. This planet was not on any normal star map, but his scanner had picked up energy from deep under the ruins. Maybe there was food, maybe there was water, or maybe nothing but death. Arik walked carefully between broken towers of black stone. They looked like bones of a giant city, now silent for hundreds of years. Each step echoed like a warning. He checked his helmet display. Oxygen stable. Radar clear. For now. And then, he froze. A sound. It was soft, almost too soft for human ears. A voice, a whisper carried on the dry wind. "Please, just dairy for my sister." Arik turned quickly, his hand on the blaster at his side. No one should be alive here. No human, no alien, nothing. The scanners had shown no life signs, but the whisper came again. "Please, just dairy. For my sister." He moved toward the sound. His heartbeat quickened and a strange fear crawled into his chest. He followed the broken path between the ruins until he saw her. A girl. She sat in the shadow of a broken wall, her knees pulled to her chest, her body thin as sticks. Her skin was pale but glowing faintly, almost like a soft blue light under the surface. Her eyes were large, too large for her small face, and they shone with hunger and sadness. She looked no older than 12. Arik lowered his blaster slowly. He did not want to scare her. "Who are you?" he asked, his voice hard but calm. The girl looked up. Her lips trembled as she whispered again. "Please, just dairy for my sister." "I'll pay you back, when I'm grown." Arik frowned. Dairy, did she mean food? Milk? He did not know. She clutched something tightly in her small hands. He stepped closer and saw it was not food at all. It was a book. Old, torn, half-burned. A diary. Her voice was weak, almost broken. "She is waiting. My sister. She is waiting." Arik crouched down. He could see the ribs on her chest, the way her hands shook from weakness. She was starving. Her body was fragile, but her eyes burned with something stronger than fear. Hope. He reached into his pack and pulled out a small ration bar. He held it out. "Eat." The girl took it with trembling hands. She smelled it first, then ate slowly, carefully, like she had not tasted food in weeks. Tears rolled down her face as she chewed. Arik watched in silence. Something about her did not feel normal. She was alien, yes, but not like the others he had fought in the war. She seemed innocent, pure. "Where is your sister?" he asked. The girl lifted her glowing eyes toward the dark horizon. She raised a thin arm and pointed at the stars. "There," she whispered. "Far away." "She is waiting for me, please." "Take me." Arik's jaw tightened. He was no rescuer. He was a soldier, a survivor. Helping her would only slow him down. But something inside him, something human, would not let him walk away. Then suddenly the girl's body shook. Strange symbols began to appear on her skin, glowing like fire. They spread across her arms and neck, moving like living tattoos. Arik's eyes widened. "What are you?" he whispered. But before she could answer, her body went limp. She collapsed forward into his arms, the glowing marks fading quickly. Arik looked around the ruins. The wind howled louder now, as if warning him. He lifted her small body and carried her back to his ship. His steps were fast, his heart heavy. Inside the cockpit, he placed her on the seat. She was breathing, but barely. The diary slipped from her weak fingers and fell open on the floor. Arik bent down to pick it up. The pages were filled with drawings, strange stars, maps, creatures with wings of fire. And on one page, written in a shaky hand, were the words, "She is the last. Protect her." Arik felt a chill run down his spine. Who was she? Why was she alone on a dead planet? And who was this sister she kept whispering about? The ship's engines roared to life as Arik prepared to leave. He looked at the fragile girl resting in the chair. She looked almost peaceful now, her lips moving in a dream. And then the alarm screamed. A red light flashed across the control screen. Warning. Hostile signal detected. Arik's eyes snapped to the radar. Something massive was approaching fast. Not human. Not friendly. He looked at the unconscious girl again. Her glowing skin shimmered faintly, as if reacting to the danger. The soldier clenched his teeth. This was no accident. This was only the beginning. The ship shook under the force of the engines as Captain Arik pulled it into the air. Dust clouds swirled outside, hiding the ruins of the dead planet below. But the radar screen told him the truth. Something big was following. The girl lay still in the co-pilot's chair, her chest rising and falling weakly. Her skin glowed faintly, almost like stars trapped under the surface. Her hands still clutched the torn diary even in sleep. Arik's jaw tightened. He was a soldier, trained to fight, not to carry dying children across space. Yet he could not leave her, not after hearing those words. "Please, just dairy for my sister. I'll pay you back when I'm grown." He didn't even understand what she meant. But the way she whispered it, like a promise, like a bond, had burned into his mind. The ship screamed as it pushed through the upper sky. Alarms blinked red across the control panel. Hostile signal closing. Distance 4,000 meters. Arik cursed under his breath and turned the ship sharply. The engines roared, but the signal followed. Something was locked on him. Then he heard a sound. Not the alarm, not the engines. A small, broken whisper. "Do not go straight. They will see. Turn to the dark side." Arik's eyes darted to the co-pilot's seat. The girl was awake. Her eyes glowed brighter now, and her voice was stronger than before. "What do you mean?" he demanded. She lifted one thin arm and pointed to the left side of the sky where heavy clouds boiled in silence. "There. The shadows. They cannot see inside." Arik hesitated. The scanner showed nothing but storms that way. It could crush the ship, but the hostile signal was gaining fast. He had no choice. He pulled the controls hard. The ship dove into the storm. Thunder shook the air. Lightning slashed across the windows, but the signal on the radar blinked, then vanished. Arik exhaled slowly. "You saved us," he muttered. The girl's lips curved into a faint smile. She leaned back, closing her eyes, but before she drifted away, she whispered again, "Please, take me to my sister. She is waiting." Arik stared at her for a long moment. Her face was young, innocent, but her words carried weight as if she was older than she looked. He placed a blanket over her small frame and turned back to the controls. Hours passed in silence. The storm faded and stars stretched across the black window. Arik checked his fuel levels low. He could not wander aimlessly. Then the girl stirred again. She touched the diary in her lap, her fingers glowing faintly against the old paper. Arik asked, "What is this book?" She held it to her chest. "It is my promise. My mother gave it to me before the war. She said, 'Write your truth here. One day your sister will read it.'" Her eyes filled with tears, but she did not let them fall. "I kept it safe. Even when the sky burned. Even when they hunted us. I promised I would keep it safe." Arik frowned. "Your people, what happened to them?" The girl shook her head slowly. "The machines came. They wanted our light. They took it. From everyone. Only I escaped, only me. And her." Her voice broke and she whispered again, almost to herself, "She is waiting. I will pay you back when I'm grown." Arik felt something stir inside him. A soldier's heart was supposed to be cold, but he could not ignore her plea. He leaned closer. "Where is she? Where is your sister?" The girl's eyes lit up brighter, as if stars were trapped in her gaze. Strange glowing lines appeared on her arms again, spreading like rivers of light. She pointed out the window toward a faraway cluster of stars. Her voice was calm but filled with strength. "There, beyond the border of maps. A hidden world. She sleeps. But she waits." Arik followed her finger. The stars she pointed to were in the forbidden zone, uncharted space where ships vanished and never returned. "You're asking me to fly into death?" he said coldly. The girl looked at him with wide eyes. "No, I am asking you to keep a promise." Her words struck him harder than any weapon. He looked away, tightening his grip on the controls. He wanted to say no, to turn back, to drop her on the nearest station and leave. But when he looked back at her, he saw only hope. And then, alarms blared again. Warning, hostile signal detected. Distance 2,000 meters. Arik's heart raced. They found us again. The girl sat up straighter. Her small hands glowed brighter now, lighting the cabin with soft blue fire. "They will never stop," she whispered. "Because of me? Because I am the map." Arik's blood ran cold. "What do you mean, the map?" But before she could answer, the ship shook violently. Explosions flashed outside the window. The enemy was here. The girl grabbed Arik's arm, her eyes burning like stars. "Please, save me, and I will show you the way." Arik stared at her, torn between survival and duty. The enemy closed in, and for the first time in years, Captain Arik felt something he thought he had lost long ago: hope. The stars outside the window flashed like cold fire as Captain Arik pulled the ship into a sharp dive. Behind him, the radar screamed with red signals. The enemy was close, too close. Dark shapes appeared in the distance. At first they looked like shadows, but then their lights came alive. Long, sharp machines with wings of black metal, eyes glowing red. Drones, hunters. They spread across the void like a net, moving with deadly silence. Each one locked onto Arik's ship. Their weapons glowed, ready to fire. Arik gritted his teeth. "Hold on." The girl clutched her diary tightly to her chest. Her glowing skin pulsed in fear, but her voice was steady. "They will not stop," she whispered. "They smell the light inside me. They follow it across the stars." Arik snapped his head toward her. "Light? What light?" But she shook her head, refusing to answer. Instead, she pointed to the left side of the window. Her eyes glowed like two small suns. "There, through the rocks, the shadows will hide us." Arik glanced at his scanner. Ahead was an asteroid field. Massive stones spinning in silence, colliding with each other, breaking apart like shattered worlds. No sane pilot would fly inside. One mistake and the ship would be crushed. The drones fired. Arik pulled the controls. The ship screamed as bright beams of red fire passed just inches away. The hull shook, alarms blaring. He made his choice. The ship plunged into the asteroid field. Huge stones tumbled around them, some the size of cities, others as small as fists. They spun in every direction, crashing and breaking apart. The ship darted between them, scraping against rock, shaking violently. The drones followed. Arik's hands moved fast, pulling the ship left, right, up, down. The girl held her seat, her wide eyes glowing brighter with each turn. One drone smashed against a rock, exploding into silent fire. Another clipped its wing and spun away. But more kept coming. They moved like wolves, patient and deadly. "Why are they chasing you?" Arik demanded, sweat on his brow. "What are you?" The girl hugged her diary tighter. Her lips trembled, but she answered. "I am the key," she whispered. "The map is inside me. My sister is the door. Together, we are the last of our kind." Arik felt his chest tighten. "A map? A key?" He didn't have time to ask more. Another blast of red fire shook the ship. Warnings flashed across the control screen. Shields, 40% hull damage detected. He cursed under his breath. "We can't keep this up." The girl closed her eyes. Strange glowing symbols appeared again on her skin, spreading across her arms and face like rivers of light. They pulsed in rhythm, almost alive. Arik stared. "What are you doing?" She whispered words he didn't understand, her voice soft but filled with power. The ship's scanner beeped. A new path appeared on the screen, weaving through the asteroids like a hidden trail. Arik blinked. "You just showed me the way." The girl opened her eyes. "Follow it, or we will die." Arik didn't argue. He pulled the controls and followed the glowing trail. The ship twisted through the rocks, avoiding each deadly collision by inches. The drones tried to follow, but the trail seemed invisible to them. One by one they crashed against the asteroids, bursting into silent flames. But one drone remained. The biggest one. It cut through the rocks with precision, its red eyes locked on them. Its weapons glowed brighter, stronger than before. The girl's glowing trail ended. Arik saw only solid rock ahead. "It's a dead end," he shouted. The girl shook her head. Her glowing hand pointed forward. "No, it is a door. Trust me." Arik's eyes narrowed. Trusting her meant gambling with his life. But there was no other choice. He pushed the ship forward. The giant rock ahead loomed closer. At the last second, the girl's glowing symbols burned brighter and the rock shifted. A hidden crack opened, wide enough for the ship. Arik flew through. The crack closed behind them, sealing the path. The last drone slammed into solid stone and exploded in silence. Inside, everything went dark. The ship floated in a vast hidden chamber, carved inside the asteroid itself. Strange lights glowed across the walls, forming symbols similar to the ones on the girl's skin. The air felt heavy, almost sacred. Arik turned slowly to look at her. She sat calmly now, her diary resting in her lap. Her glowing skin pulsed in rhythm with the walls around them. "This place," Arik whispered. "You've been here before," the girl nodded. "My people built it long ago. A refuge, a secret path. Only we can see it," Arik frowned. "Why bring me here?" She looked at him, her eyes soft but filled with fire. "Because I cannot do this alone," she said. "My sister is waiting. She is the last hope, but the machines will hunt us until the end of time. If you leave me, they will win." Her voice cracked, but she pressed the diary against her chest. "I promised her. I promised I would return. Please help me. I will pay you back when I'm grown." Arik stared at her for a long time. He was a soldier, not a savior. Yet the way she spoke, the way her eyes burned with hope, it was something he had not seen in years. The chamber lights dimmed, and a deep rumble echoed through the walls. Something ancient had awakened. The girl's eyes widened. She whispered one final word. "They found us." The hidden chamber inside the asteroid shook like a beating heart. Strange lights pulsed across the walls, glowing in rhythm with the alien girl's skin. Captain Arik tightened his grip on the ship's controls. He had survived battles, ambushes, and hunts, but nothing felt like this. The girl sat quietly in the co-pilot's seat, clutching her torn diary to her chest. Her eyes were wide, glowing softly, but her voice was steady. "They are coming," she whispered. "The machines never stop. They will break this place." Arik glanced at the scanner. At first it showed only silence. Then red dots appeared, 1, 2, then dozens. Enemy drones swarmed outside the asteroid, their claws tearing through the stone. The walls trembled as if the entire chamber would collapse. Arik cursed under his breath. "We need a way out." The girl pressed her glowing hand against the wall. Strange symbols lit up, spreading like fire across the stone. A deep rumble answered. Slowly, a second tunnel opened ahead of them, narrow and twisting like a serpent. She looked at him. "That path leads to the void. Follow it and we will escape." Arik's jaw tightened. The tunnel was too small. One mistake and the ship would smash against the walls. But there was no other choice. The chamber roared again as the outer wall cracked. Red light spilled through the fractures. The enemy was almost inside. "Hold on," Arik growled. He pushed the ship forward. The tunnel swallowed them. Dark stone pressed close on both sides. Sparks flew as the ship scraped against jagged rock. Arik fought the controls, guiding them through sharp turns, sudden drops, and narrow openings. Sweat rolled down his neck. Behind them, the chamber collapsed. Explosions echoed as the drones forced their way inside. The tunnel shook violently. Arik could feel the enemy rushing after them. The girl closed her eyes, whispering softly in her strange language. The symbols on her skin glowed brighter, painting the tunnel walls with faint light. Arik glanced at her. "What are you doing?" "Calling the path," she whispered. "It remembers my people. It remembers me." The tunnel bent sharply downward. The ship plunged into blackness. For a moment, everything was silent. Then ahead, the walls opened. They burst out into space, but it was not normal space. Arik gasped. Before them stretched a vast ocean of stars, brighter and closer than any charted sector. The void shimmered like liquid silver, bending and twisting as if alive. Broken ships floated everywhere. Old vessels, shattered cruisers, even human warships long thought lost. Time itself seemed broken here. Some ships looked ancient, rusted and lifeless. Others looked fresh, their lights still burning, though no crew remained. They drifted like ghosts, trapped forever. Arik whispered, "What is this place?" The girl opened her glowing eyes. "This is the grave of stars. My people called it the Silent Sea. It hides those who are hunted, but it also traps them. Many came here. Few escaped." Arik's stomach sank. He pulled the ship forward, weaving past the floating wrecks. The scanner flickered, confused, showing signals everywhere and nowhere at once. But then, a sharp alarm. Hostile signal detected. Distance was 500 meters. Arik's blood ran cold. "The drones had followed them. They should not be here," the girl whispered, fear in her voice now. "The sea rejects them, but they are learning." Red lights appeared in the distance. The drones pushed through the broken ships faster than shadows, their weapons glowing like fire. Arik's hands moved quickly on the controls. He dodged between wrecks, using them as shields. Explosions lit the void as drones blasted apart the husks of dead ships. "Where is the way out?" Arik shouted. The girl pressed her glowing hand against her diary. The symbols on her skin pulsed faster. I can feel it, she whispered. The door. It is close. My sister waits beyond, Arik growled, weaving the ship through the wrecks. But then, one of the drones appeared directly ahead, blocking their path. Its red eyes glowed brighter than the rest. It fired. The ship shook violently. Sparks flew across the cockpit. Warning screamed, shields 12% hull damage critical. Arik's jaw clenched. They couldn't take another hit. The girl suddenly unstrapped herself. She stood in the middle of the cockpit, her small body glowing like a star. What are you doing? Arik shouted. She spread her arms. The glowing symbols raced across her skin, brighter than ever. Her voice rang out, calm but powerful. Light calls to light. The space around them shimmered. The wrecks of the dead ships glowed faintly, their metal husks waking. Like ancient guardians. One by one they shifted, moving into the drone's path. The drones tried to fire, but the wrecks crashed into them, breaking them apart. Explosions filled the silent sea. Arik stared in shock. The girl's light was guiding the wrecks like puppets. She collapsed back into her seat, weak and pale, but still breathing. The sea answered me, she whispered. Arik's hands moved quickly on the controls. He pushed the ship forward through the chaos. Ahead the stars bent strangely, twisting into a swirling crack of white light. The girl pointed, her hand shaking. There, that is the door. She waits beyond. Arik tightened his grip. If this kills us, I'll regret ever leaving that planet. The girl gave a faint smile. Trust me, soldier. Trust me. The ship dove into the crack. Light swallowed them whole. For a moment there was only silence. Then the ship emerged into a vast new sky. The stars here were cold and sharp, like diamonds on black silk. A strange energy filled the air, buzzing through the ship. Arik exhaled slowly. They had escaped. But then a faint voice filled the cockpit speakers. Not the girl's voice. Not his. It was distant, soft, and yet familiar. Little one. You are late. I have been waiting. The girl's eyes filled with tears. Sister, she whispered. Arik's blood chilled. They were not alone. The cockpit was silent except for the faint hum of the engines. Captain Arik kept his hands tight on the controls, his eyes scanning the strange sky they had entered. The stars here felt wrong, too sharp, too close, as if they were watching. Then the voice came again. Little one, you are late. I have been waiting. The girl's face lit up with tears. She leaned forward, pressing her glowing hands against the window as if she could touch the stars. Sister, she whispered, her voice breaking. I found you. Arik's chest tightened. He had fought enemies, seen dying worlds, survived horrors of war. But this was different. A child weeping for her sister in the middle of an alien sky. It pulled at something he had buried long ago. But the soldier in him stayed alert. Who's speaking? He demanded, scanning the radar. Where are you? The voice answered, calm and steady, echoing inside the ship's speakers. I am everywhere in this place. I am the last guardian of my people. The girl is my key, and I am her door. Arik's grip on the controls tightened. What does that mean? The girl turned to him, her eyes glowing like two blue suns. She is my sister. Not flesh like me, but spirit. She was made long ago when our people feared the machines. She was hidden here in the silent sea so they could not take her. Her voice shook, but her smile was pure. Now I have found her. Now we can be whole. Arik frowned. Your sister is an AI? The girl tilted her head, not understanding the word. She is more than a mind. She is memory. She carries our songs, our maps, our dreams. Without her, I am only light. With her, I am the last of my people. The voice of the sister filled the ship again. But you are not safe. The machines know you live. They will come. They will never stop until your light is gone. The ship shuddered suddenly. Arik's eyes darted to the radar. Red signals blinked. Enemy drones. Somehow they had followed. The girl gasped, clutching her diary. No, they should not be here. This place rejects them. The sister's voice grew colder. They are learning. They adapt. The silent sea cannot hold them forever. Arik pulled the ship into a sharp turn. Wreckage floated ahead, broken ships drifting like corpses. He weaved between them as blasts of red light streaked past. The drones fired without mercy. The girl cried out, Sister, help us! The stars bent. For a moment, Arik felt as if space itself moved. The wrecks of old ships twisted, blocking the drones, colliding with them. Explosions lit the sky. But more drones poured through the rift. The sister's voice spoke again. You cannot run forever. There is only one path left. The path of truth, Arik snapped. Speak clearly. What do we do? The girl's glowing eyes turned to him, trembling with fear but shining with faith. She means the heart, she whispered. The place my people hid before the end. It is dangerous. Many never returned. But inside the heart, there is power enough to fight back. Arik gritted his teeth. And where is this heart? The girl opened her diary. Her glowing fingers traced the pages. Strange maps shimmered to life above the book, twisting lines of stars and hidden symbols. They formed a path that led deeper into the unknown sky. There, she said softly. Follow this trail and we will find it. Arik stared at the glowing map. His soldier's instinct screamed at him to stop. This was madness, chasing fairy tales into cursed space while death followed behind. But the girl's small voice broke through his doubts. Please, soldier. I promised her. I promised I would return. Take me there, and I will pay you back when I'm grown. Arik closed his eyes for a moment. He remembered his own sister, long dead, lost to the war. He remembered making promises he could never keep. When he opened his eyes, he pulled the controls. Show me the way. The drones swarmed closer. Their red eyes burned like fire. But the ship darted forward, following the glowing path of the diary. The girl's symbols pulsed in rhythm with the map. The sister's voice guided them, steady and calm. Faster, do not look back. Trust only the light. The ship wove through broken stars, past shattered planets into deeper darkness. The drones chased, firing without end. Explosions shook the void. Finally, ahead, something appeared, a sphere of pure light, vast and terrible, floating in the center of the broken sky. It pulsed like a living heart, its glow stronger than any star. The girl gasped. The heart of my people. Arik's skin crawled. The sphere looked alive, watching him, judging him. The sister's voice echoed with power. Enter and you will see the truth. Enter and you may save her, but beware. The heart does not forgive lies. The girl turned to Arik, her eyes wide with hope. Please, trust me. Behind them, the drones roared closer, weapons blazing. Ahead, the heart pulsed, opening like a door of light. Arik's mind raced. He had a choice, stay and die, or enter the heart, and face whatever waited inside. He pulled the controls forward. The ship dove into the light. Light swallowed everything. For a moment, Captain Arik felt weightless, as if he had no body, no ship, no voice. Only endless brightness pressed against his mind. Then slowly the glow faded and the ship floated inside a vast chamber made of pure light, the heart. It was bigger than any planet, but it had no walls, no ground, just endless currents of glowing energy, moving like rivers through the air. Strange symbols shimmered across the void, the same ones that burned on the girl's skin. The girl stared in awe, tears shining in her glowing eyes. She whispered, "We are home." The sister's voice echoed all around them, soft but filled with power. "You have entered the heart. Here lies the last truth of our people. But truth is heavy and it will test you." Arik's hands tightened on the controls. He didn't like tests. He didn't like being trapped inside something he didn't understand. He was a soldier, not a seeker of secrets. He glanced at the girl. She was smiling, innocent, hopeful. She still believed this place would save her. But in his mind, another voice stirred. Not hers, not the sister's. It was the cold, sharp voice of his commanders echoing from memory. "If you ever find one of them, capture it. Bring it back. Their power belongs to us." He swallowed hard. The girl was exactly what they had wanted. A living key. A glowing map. The power of her people wrapped in a fragile body. If he brought her back, the war would end. Humanity would rule the stars, but to do that, he would have to betray her. The ship floated deeper into the heart. Glowing rivers swirled around them, humming with ancient energy. Arik's scanner went wild, unable to read anything. The girl pressed her hands against the window, her symbols shining in rhythm with the flow outside. "She is here," she whispered. "She will show us the way." The sister's voice grew louder. "But not all who enter are pure. Soldier, the heart sees you. It sees your fear. It sees your orders. Will you betray her?" Arik froze. His blood ran cold. The sister had spoken the words he hadn't dared to admit aloud. The girl turned to him slowly. Her glowing eyes searched his face. "What does she mean?" Arik looked away. He couldn't meet her gaze. His chest tightened with shame. The sister's voice echoed like thunder. He was sent to take you, to deliver you to his masters, to use your light as a weapon. That is the truth inside him. The girl's breath caught. She held her diary tightly against her chest as if it could shield her from the pain. Is it true? She whispered. Were you going to give me to them? Arik clenched his fists. He wanted to deny it, but his throat locked. He remembered the mission orders. He remembered the promise he made to the army. His silence was enough. The girl's glowing skin dimmed. Her eyes filled with tears, but she didn't cry. She only whispered, broken and soft, I trusted you. Her voice cut deeper than any blade. Suddenly the heart reacted. The glowing rivers twisted violently. The chamber shook with power. The sister's voice filled the air, no longer soft but furious. The heart does not forgive lies. Choose now, soldier. Protect her. Or betray her. There is no middle path. Arik's mind raced. If he betrayed her, humanity might win the war. He would be honored, rewarded, remembered as the man who brought the key. But if he protected her, he would lose everything. His people would call him traitor. He would have no home to return to. The girl pressed her glowing hand to the diary, whispering through tears. Please, Arik. I only wanted to see her again. I only wanted to keep my promise. Her words burned inside him. He remembered his own sister, how he had promised to protect her, how he had failed. He saw that same trust in the alien girl's eyes now, and he realized this was his second chance. The scanner blared. Hostile signals appeared on the screen. The drones had forced their way into the heart. Red eyes filled the chamber, spreading like a storm. Weapons glowed as they aimed at the ship. The sister's voice thundered. Choose, soldier, now. Arik's hands shook. His commander's voice echoed in his skull. Bring it back. Bring it back. But louder still was the girl's whisper. Please, I'll pay you back when I'm grown. Arik slammed his fist onto the controls. Then I choose her. The ship roared to life. The engines flared, powered by the strange energy of the heart itself. The glowing rivers bent, wrapping around the ship like shields. The drones fired, but their blasts dissolved against the heart's light. Arik grinned for the first time in years. Let's show them what betrayal really looks like. The girl's tears turned into a glowing smile. She pressed her diary against her chest, whispering with hope. I knew you wouldn't leave me. The chamber shook as the fight began. The heart trembled like a living giant. Rivers of light twisted violently as enemy drones poured into the chamber, their red eyes glowing like fire in the storm. Captain Arik gripped the controls, his face hard, his heart pounding. Beside him, the alien girl clutched her diary, her small body glowing with defiance. Her tears were gone now. Only hope remained in her shining eyes. The sister's voice echoed all around them, calm but powerful. The time has come. The heart has chosen. Now you must see the truth. Arik pulled the ship into a sharp climb, dodging blasts of red fire. The glowing rivers of the heart bent to shield them, but the drones kept coming. Endless, relentless. Truth can wait, he growled. We're about to die. But the girl shook her head. Her glowing hand pressed against his arm. No, she is right. The truth is the only way. Her skin burned brighter, the symbols spreading across her body like living fire. The diary in her lap pulsed with light, the pages turning on their own. Then the heart opened. A doorway of pure brilliance appeared ahead, larger than any planet, brighter than any star. Arik shielded his eyes, but the girl stared into it with awe. A figure stepped out of the light. She looked like the girl. Same glowing skin, same wide eyes, but older, taller, her presence vast and powerful. Her hair flowed like liquid silver, her body woven from starlight. She hovered above the glowing rivers, untouched by gravity. The girl gasped. Sister? The figure's voice was soft but carried like thunder. Little one, you found me, at last. Arik's mouth went dry. This was no machine, no simple AI. This was something older, stranger, alive in a way that defied reason. The sister stretched out her glowing hand toward the girl. You are the last of our people. Alone you are fragile. With me you are whole. Together, we can rise again. The girl's face lit with joy. She reached out her trembling hand. I kept my promise. I came back. But before their hands could touch, the drones attacked. Dozens of red beams struck the heart. The chamber shook violently. Rivers of light cracked, fragments shattering into darkness. The sister's face turned cold. The machines dare to wound the heart. This cannot continue. Her body expanded, her light blazing brighter until she filled the chamber like a sun. The drones faltered, blinded, but they kept firing. Arik's scanner screamed. The heart was breaking. If it collapsed, everything inside, ship, girl, sister, soldier, would be erased. Arik shouted over the chaos. "What do we do?" The sister's voice thundered. "A choice must be made. Soldier, hear me. Humanity seeks power. They will never stop until they take what is mine. If you stand with me, I will burn them out of the stars forever. If you betray me, I will fall, and your people will take her light." Arik froze. His chest felt heavy as stone. On one side, his duty, his orders, his people. On the other, the girl, her promise, her hope. The girl looked at him, tears shining in her glowing eyes. "Arik, I trust you. Please don't leave me now." The ship shook violently as another blast hit. Sparks rained across the cockpit. Arik's vision blurred with smoke. The voice of his commanders echoed in his head. "Bring it back. End the war. Humanity must win." But louder still was the memory of the girl's whisper. "Please, just dairy for my sister. I'll pay you back when I'm grown." Arik's heart ached. He had failed his own sister long ago. He would not fail this one. He stood, leaving the controls, and stepped closer to the girl. His voice was steady, his choice clear. "I choose you." The sister's light flared. The girl's body glowed brighter, her symbols burning like fire. The diary in her lap dissolved into pure light, merging with her chest. The two sisters touched hands at last, and in that moment, they became one. The girl's small body lifted from the seat, her voice blending with the sister's. It was no longer a child's whisper, nor a spirit's echo, but something greater, something whole. "We are the last. We are together. We will live," the heart roared. Rivers of light surged outward, exploding like 1,000 suns. The drones were caught in the storm, their red eyes flickering before they were torn apart, erased in silence. The chamber shook, then calmed. The machines were gone. Only light remained. Arik fell back into his seat, breathing hard, sweat dripping down his face. He had seen many battles, but nothing like this. The glowing figure turned to him. It was no longer just the girl, no longer just the sister, but both, merged, complete. She smiled gently. "You chose well, soldier. And because of you, we are not alone." Arik swallowed hard. He didn't feel like a soldier anymore. He felt like something else. Something he hadn't been in a long time. Human. The glowing figure stepped closer, her light surrounding him like warmth. "You saved me," she whispered. "One day when I am grown, I will pay you back." Arik gave a tired smile. "Don't rush, just keep your promise." The heart pulsed one final time. The glowing figure faded into starlight, merging with the chamber, waiting for the day she would rise again. Arik sat in silence, staring at the endless sky. Alone now, but not broken. He whispered softly, almost to himself. She was worth the betrayal. The engines hummed. The ship drifted out of the heart, carrying him back to the stars.